So apparently Twitch doesn't like the word peasant. Apparently. I was getting error messages. Welcome everyone. Happy Monday. I was getting error messages and my Twitch wouldn't update the title for my stream. And it just wouldn't do it in Twitch, in the backend on Twitch. And it didn't give me any reason. It just said it failed to load it. So I said, all right, fine. I'll just wait and do it in Streamlabs at the last minute. So I did in Streamlabs, and that actually gave me an error message that said that there was a banned word or something. And I looked back at my message, and was like, what the hell could be banned? And the only thing I could assume it was peasant, because I originally was magical beasts and smart peasants, so I changed it to people, and then it went through. So I assume they don't like the word peasant. I'm not trying to be political. I'm not trying to have any crazy message. I was just writing about peasants in Russian fairy tales. What are you gonna do? At least that was solved. Hello everyone. I hope you all had a fine weekend. If I saw you for the Warhammer War Room stream on Saturday, I missed Blood Curdling. I had a family thing to do Saturday night, but I heard it was great. If you haven't watched it, I'm sure the VOD is up, or Cameron will put it up on YouTube eventually. And what else? Yesterday we just did a bunch of cleaning in our house, attempting to at least, and work. The wife and I watched The Little Things last night, the new Denzel Washington movie on HBO Max. It was alright. If you need something to do, it's worth watching if you already have HBO Max. I wouldn't say go out and buy a subscription or get a subscription just for that, but it was fine. And I'm watching the show Titans, the DC Comics show. I hadn't gotten around to it, so I have HBO Max, so I figured, what the heck, might as well watch it. Yeah, I hear people are having interesting weather out there. It's cold here for Southern California, but it's fine. I'm comfy, Scott. This morning I did not have the energy to actually get dressed in anything. Titans is okay. Because I'm such a DC Comics nerd, I enjoy things that are packed with characters and references. I gobble that stuff up, so I like it for that reason. Like, every episode introduces more and more characters, so that's cool. It's so dark. It's like the grim darkest DC Comics thing ever. I mean, they're just like, these kids are just straight up murdering people, and there's torture in every episode, and it is so bleak. It's also, like, just visually, it's completely washed out. There's like no color to it, except for like brief spots with what's her face? Why can't I remember names this morning? Anyway, there's just like every so often there'll be like a tiny bit of color. Otherwise, it's the typical Zack Snyder palette, so it's alright. Yeah. I tried watching Doom Patrol, and I only got a couple episodes in, so then I decided, well, let me try Titans, so I switched to that. So eventually I'll go back and watch Doom Patrol, and I'll catch up on everything. But anyway, topics for another day. And we'll talk about new HeroClix maybe at the end of the week. Yeah, probably on Friday. Okay. But today is Monday, and Mythology Monday it is, so we are going to continue reading Russian fairy tales. Looks like we got some good ones, or at least from the titles coming up today. Oh, wow. War movies, that's cool. I haven't seen 1917 yet. I think we have a screener for it. I know it's on something. All right. Oh, and I will, just to point out, I'm sure you've seen. Yeah, that's what I've heard. There's a new donation bar if you feel so inclined. They're the new the new hotness model that came out, or it's out for pre-order now. Comes out next week. Is it's the big speeder for the Space Marines for the Primaris. Looks like another cool thing that I could build on stream with you all watching, and you could help determine what goes where and name it. So yes, the Storm speeder by Mr. Storm. So that's I think I got the it's $75 like including tax and everything. So obviously any money that goes over will go to other things that I can get for the stream. But if you feel so inclined, it's up there. Otherwise, let's get back to Fantastic Tales. Yeah, here, look, there's a peasant right here. Don't tell Twitch I'm talking about peasants, I guess. The Fiddler in Hell. Once there was a peasant who had 3 sons. He lived richly, gathered 2 potfuls of honey, and buried 1 pot in the threshing barn and the other under the gate. Okay, it's weird right off the bat. This peasant died without having told anyone about his money. One day there was a holiday in the village. A fiddler was walking about leisurely when suddenly he fell through the ground and found himself in hell, at the very spot where the rich peasant was being tormented. Rich peasant. Usually that would be an oxymoron. "Good day, my friend," said the fiddler. The peasant answered, "You have fallen into the wrong place. This is hell, and I am in hell." "But, uncle, why were you sent here?" "Because of my money. I had a great deal of it, but I never gave to the poor, and buried 2 pots of it in the ground. Now I will be tormented, struck with sticks, and lacerated with claws." "What shall I do? I might be tormented too." "Sit on the stove behind the chimney. Do not eat for 3 years. Thus you will be saved." The fiddler hid behind the chimney. The devils came and began to beat the rich peasant, saying all the time, "That's for you, rich man. You hoarded a great deal of money, and you did not know how to hide it. You buried it in such a place that we have a hard time guarding it. There is constant coming and going through the gate. The horses crush our heads with their hooves. In the threshing barn we are thrashed with flails." As soon as the devils left, the peasant said to the fiddler, "If you ever get out of here, tell my children to take the money. 1 pot is buried under the gate and the other in the threshing barn, and tell them to give it to the poor." Again a whole band of devils came rushing in and asked the rich peasant, "Why is there a Russian smell here?" The peasant said, "You've just been to Russia, and you have the Russian smell in your nostrils." "Impossible!" They began to search, found the fiddler, and cried, "Ha ha ha! A fiddler is here!" They dragged him down from the stove and forced him to play the fiddle. He played for 3 years, but it seemed to him like 3 days. He got tired and said, "How strange. Sometimes I played and tore all my strings in one evening, and now I've played for 3 days, and not one string is broken. Blessed be the Lord." He had no sooner said those words than all his strings snapped. "Well, brothers," he said, "you can see for yourselves, my strings have broken. I have nothing to play on." "Just wait," said one devil. "I have 2 sets of strings, and I'll bring them to you." He ran away and came back with some strings. The fiddler took them, tightened them, and then again said, "Blessed be the Lord," when the 2 sets of strings snapped. "No, brothers," he said, "I cannot use your strings. I have some of my own at home. If you let me go, I'll bring them here." The devils refused to let him go. "You won't come back," they said. "If you don't trust me, send one of your number to escort me." So the devils chose one of their company to go with the fiddler. He came to the village and heard a wedding being celebrated in the last house. "Let's go to that wedding." "Let's." They went into the house. Everyone recognized the fiddler and asked him, "Where have you been for 3 years?" "I was in the other world." They regaled themselves, and the devil said to the fiddler, "We must go now." The fiddler said, "Wait a little while. Let me play my fiddle and amuse the young couple." They stayed there until the cocks began to crow. Then the devil vanished, and the fiddler said to the rich peasant's sons, "Your father orders you to take his money. One pot is buried under the gate, and another in the threshing barn, and he said that you should give it all to the poor. The sons dug up the 2 pots and began to distribute the money to the poor, but the more they gave, the more was in the pots. They put the pots on a crossroads. Whoever passed by took out of them as many coins as his hand could clutch, and still the money in them did not decrease. A petition was sent to the Tsar saying that in a certain town there was a winding road about 50 versts long, and that a straight road would reduce this distance to about 5 versts. And the Tsar gave orders that a straight bridge be built. A bridge 5 versts long was erected, and this used up all the money contained in the 2 pots. At that time a maiden gave birth to a son and abandoned him. This boy did not eat or drink for 3 years, and an angel of God always accompanied him. The boy came to the bridge and said, "Ah, what a wonderful bridge! May God give the kingdom of heaven to him whose money built it." The Lord heard that prayer and ordered his angels to release the rich peasant from the darkness of hell. The end. All right, well, there were a couple of good things that happened in that story, and it ended well for just about everybody. It's very interesting to consider the sort of within a yeah, there's a lot going on to get to that ending and to get to that happy ending. But to think of the Russian consideration of class levels and who is what does it mean to be a peasant, and the fact that you can be a rich peasant. Yeah, because it's a whole other thing. And that to succeed, to give your money away, actually ends up, not only do you need to help other people, but you need to sort of help people in general by having this road built for everybody to use. So, I mean, you could read into this a little bit of I don't know, maybe not communism, but socialism, or I don't know, maybe both, maybe either one. Yeah, peasant might indeed be not exactly the right translation, but we get the idea. Certainly not a high level person in this society. And the fiddler is good. He's smart and figures things out, and everything goes well for people. There you go. Oh, here's some of this cool artwork. So we got some dancing people and some crops? I don't know. Hey, Ardens, welcome. Doing all right. The Old Woman Who Ran Away. An old man and his wife sat on the stove. The old woman looked at the field through the window and said, "If we had a little son, Ivanushko, and a little daughter, Alyanushka, our son would have plowed the field and sowed grain. The grain would have grown, and our daughter would have mowed it, and I would have grown malt, brewed beer, and invited all my kin. But I would not have invited your kin." "No, invite mine, but not yours," said the old man. No, I will invite my own folk, not yours." The old man jumped up and began to drag his wife by her braid. He dragged and dragged her and finally pushed her off the stove. Then the old man went to get wood, and the old woman made ready to run away. She baked breads and pies, put them in a big bag, and went to say farewell to a neighbor. Somehow the old man got wind of it, returned home, took out of the bag everything his wife had prepared for her trip, put the bread and the pies in the larder, and himself sat in the bag. The old woman came home, placed the bag on her shoulders, and set out on her journey. After walking for 5 or 6 versts, she stopped and said, It would be nice to sit on a tree stump now and eat a cake. The old man cried from the bag, I can see everything! I can hear everything! Ah, the accursed devil! He might catch me, thought the old woman, and went on. Again she walked for about 6 versts and said, It would be nice to sit on a tree stump now and eat a cake. I can see everything! I can hear everything! Cried the old man. Again she hurried on. She walked many versts, and not having eaten or drunk anything, she got so tired that her strength failed her. Come what may, I will stop here, thought the old woman. I will have a rest and a bite. Then she discovered that her husband was in the bag. She begged him, Little father, forgive me. I will never try to run away again. The old man forgave her, and they went home together. Well, the end. Okay. Yeah, they definitely like to sit on the stove. I assume it's very, very cold, and that's sometimes the only way to keep warm is to maybe it's like a sunken thing, and so they're sitting above. Yeah, I don't know exactly, but they definitely like to sit on the stove. Yeah, Russia can definitely be cold. I don't know how many of you heard about this, but I had tweeted about this not too long ago. But for the weather program on my phone, I don't usually need to check the weather. It's usually good here, but so I have it set to a place in Russia called the... Oh, there's this ugly ad on here. Go away, ugly ad. But yeah, so I like to set it for this place. So currently it is negative 44 degrees in Oymyakonsky district in Russia. And yes, people do live there. And negative 44, that's mild for Oymyakonsky district. I just always like looking at the complete insanity of their weather. For instance, one day it was negative 53 with full sunshine. This is Fahrenheit. And then the best one I've seen so far is one night, right before New Year's, it was negative 65 degrees. Yeah. So that's a place where people could live, apparently. Humans live there. I get a kick out of that. I don't know. I'd visit. I don't know if I'd want to live there. Allegedly live there. Okay. I think it's near Yakutsk, because yeah, I once had that as my default weather place. This one is a district, so I don't know if it's a wider area than one specific city. I'm not entirely sure. All right, so the next thing we have here, we just have 2 anecdotes. They're not full stories, they're anecdotes. So let's see if we can figure out what these anecdotes mean. Anecdote the first. A woman came to an inn and asked about her husband. Was not my drunkard here? He was. Ah, the scoundrel, the knave! How much did he drink? 5 kopecks worth. Well, give me 10 kopecks worth. Alright, that's cute. I like that one. That's a good anecdote. The wife is gonna outdrink her layabout drunken husband. Anecdote the second. Once a turnip said, I taste very good with honey. Go along, you boaster, replied the honey. I taste good without you. That's cute. Those are 2 fine anecdotes. Maybe the shorter the story, the more sense Well, I don't know. We've read very short stories in here that have made no sense whatsoever. But these two were good. I like those two anecdotes. Well, the first one is kind of more like just a joke, but yeah, the second one is definitely an anecdote. We're gonna skip this next one. It's very long. Let's go to. Okay, this is the ram who lost half his skin. Ew. That turnip got roasted. That's true. Listen to the honey. Not that rascal turnip. I was watching. We were watching some like documentary videos on bears yesterday with the kids, because we watch all sorts of random stuff. And like out of the blue, it went to a bear who had just caught some kind of gigantic fish, and then the bear held the fish with one hand, and then like took a bite and just like ripped off like all this, just like ripped all the skin off the fish in one bite, and it's just still moving around. We're like, whoa, okay, that's something. So I don't know if that has anything to do with this story. The ram who lost half his skin. Yep, listen to the honeys. A certain nobleman had many head of cattle. One day he killed and skinned 5 sheep because he wanted to have a coat made of the skins. He sent for a tailor and said to him, "Now sew up a sheepskin for me." The tailor measured him and found that he needed half a skin more. "You don't have enough skins," he said. "I need some more for the lapels." "That's easy," answered the nobleman, and ordered his lackey to remove half the skin of one ram. The lackey carried out the order. The ram became angry at the nobleman, called the goat, and said to him, "Let's run away from this wicked man. We can live in the woods, eat grass, drink water, and be happy." And so they did. They went into the forest, built a cabin for the nights, and lived happily eating grass. Many other beasts also disliked living with the nobleman, and a cow, a pig, a cock, and a gander also left his farm. When it was warm, these creatures lived in the open, but when icy winter came, they sought a refuge from the cold. They walked and walked through the woods, found the ram's cabin, and begged him to let them in. "Please give us shelter," they said. "We are very cold." But the ram and the goat refused. Then the cow came up to the door and said, "Let us in, else I will knock down your cabin." The ram saw that he had no choice and admitted the cow. The pig came up. "Let me in," he said, "else I will dig up all the ground around your house, make a tunnel to your door, and freeze you out." There was nothing they could do, so they admitted the pig. A moment later, the gander said, "Let me in, or I'll peck a hole in the wall and the cold wind will come in." And the cock said, "Let me in, or I'll befoul your whole roof." What could they do? They admitted the birds too, and all of them began to live together. I like that the gander's thing is, "I'm going to crap all over your roof if you don't let me." After some time, a long time or a short time, robbers passed by the cabin and heard cries and noises coming from inside. They came close, listened, could not guess who was there, and sent one of their companions to find out. "Go in," they said, "else we shall put a rope around your neck and throw you into the water." There was nothing the fellow could do, so he opened the door. The moment he set foot in the cabin, he was attacked from all sides and was forced to turn back. "Well, brothers," he said, "do what you will, but I won't go back in there for anything in the world. In all my life, I have never been so frightened. The moment I stepped in, a woman began to thrash me with an oven fork. Her daughter fell upon me in her turn. Then a cobbler thrust an awl into my back. Then a tailor cut me with his scissors. Then a soldier armed with spurs jumped at me in such fury that his hair stood on end. He shouted in a terrible voice, and the biggest of them all began to mutter threateningly. I was scared out of my wits." "Not so good," said the robbers. "Let's move out of this. They might come after us." And they left. And so the beasts went on living together. One day wolves came to the cabin, and by the smell knew who was there. They said to one of their band, "Go in, be the first of us." He had no sooner opened the door than all the beasts in the cabin began to thrash him, and he barely escaped with his life. The wolves did not know what to do. A hedgehog was with them, and he said, "Just wait, let me try. I think I can do better. For he knew that the ram had lost one side of his skin. So he waddled in and pricked the ram. The ram gave a tremendous jump over all of his companions and ran away. All of them followed him and took to their heels. Then the wolves moved into the cabin and stayed there. The end. Hello, Emily. Yeah, well, yeah, we just had you came in at perfect timing because the wolves won that story. And there's a cute depiction of the house there with all the animals swarming around trying to get in. I think that's the first story I've ever heard where the hedgehog is like buddies with the wolves. I wish they had lingered on the scene, because it's a cool scene that this robber goes in the house, gets beaten up by all the animals, and he goes out and tells the story of all these people, stabbing him with forks and other things. That imagery of what are all the animals doing that he's getting these wounds and is so afraid. Similarities with the Grimm story Town Musicians of Bremen. Interesting. Yeah, I have the link where you sent me to find some of those stories before. So we'll definitely look at some Grimm tales in the future. Those poor animals. The wolves chase them out. All right. Yep. Okay, next up. Ooh, we got a couple more animal stories. Next is the fox as midwife. A wolf and a fox lived together in true friendship. They had a little keg of honey. The fox liked sweets. She lay with her crony, the wolf, in their little house and stealthily rapped the floor with her tail. "Friend Fox," said the wolf, "there's a knocking at the door." "Ah, it's someone coming to ask me to help deliver a child," murmured the fox. "Well, go on." "Oh, thank you for the follow, a dude on wheels. Welcome. We're reading Russian fairy tales today." "Ah, it's someone coming to ask me to help deliver a child," murmured the fox. "Well, go on then," said the wolf. The fox went out of the house, straight to the honey keg, licked her fill of it, and returned. "What has God given?" asked the wolf. "A first child," said the fox. Another time, the fox again lay quietly rapping her tail. "Friend, I hear a knocking," said the wolf. "It's probably someone who needs a midwife." "Well, go then." The fox again went to the honey keg and licked her fill of it, so that only a little remained at the bottom. "What has God given?" asked the wolf. "A second child." Then the fox cheated the wolf still a third time and finished all the honey. "What has God given?" asked the wolf. "A last child." After some time, a long time or a short time, the fox pretended to be ill and asked her friend the wolf to bring her some honey. He went to the keg and found that not even a drop was left. "Friend, friend!" cried the wolf. "The honey is all eaten up." "What do you mean?" asked the fox angrily. "Who could have eaten it except you?" The wolf swore that it was not he. "Very well, then," said the fox. "Let us lie in the sun. Whoever sweats out the honey is the culprit." They lay down in the sun. The fox did not sleep, but the gray wolf snored with his whole snout. After a while, the fox got hold of some honey and quickly smeared the wolf with it. "Friend, friend," she said, nudging the wolf, "what's this? Who has eaten the honey?" The wolf had no choice but to admit his guilt. "There's a tail for you, and a crock of butter for me." The end. So, I mean, I guess the fox is just pretending to be a midwife. I don't think there are any actual children being born, but you never know. I like that that the fox is lazy enough to come up with this. The fox sends out the wolf to reveal that there's no honey left, to trick the whole thing. But then, while the wolf is sleeping, the fox just runs out and just gets more honey. So, like, didn't need to do any of this stuff. Because there's more honey out there. It's like, alright. Uh-oh. Oh, no, my internet, I think it's me. Wow, my numbers are, like, doing this. Wow. Hold on a second. Let me see. Yeesh. If you can still hear me or see me, wow, that's crazy. My bit rate is all over the place. Twitch doesn't like me because I'm talking about peasants. I'm blaming that. Okay, hold on. It looks like it's flattening out. It literally went from 2800 to like 75 and then kept bouncing back and forth. All right, but now it's steady around 800. Can you hear me? And can you see me? Let me know. Give me some hearts in chat if you can hear me and see me. That was weird. Yeah, and there was no warning. It just happened. All right. Well, it looks like it's kind of seen. Okay. Definitely have roller coaster internet. But like I said, it's flattened out and now it's actually going up. I'm in a good number range now, so hopefully it's okay. All right. Yeah, it looks like it's steady now. It's Monday. What do we expect is going to happen? I don't know if you all heard the end of the story, but yes, I do think it's funny again that the fox went through this whole plot to make sure that she could trap the wolf into being blamed for eating all the honey when the fox could just go outside and get more honey somewhere. Okay, cool. Thanks. Everybody is back. I wonder if there's what kind of lag I'm on. I'm going to forge ahead. As always, all right, thank you for the hearts. If anyone has any questions or missed something, let me know and we can go back. I feel sorry for the wolf. The wolf did nothing wrong in this story and just gets cruelly tricked over and over again. Also, if you are hot, so sweating out the honey. So what does that mean? Do you get, if you eat too much honey, do you get the honey sweats? I mean, I know it is gross. I know they talk about meat sweats, but is honey sweats a thing? Or can you smell honey from somebody's pores if they eat too much honey? I don't know. Maybe. The wolf deserves better always. That's often the case. All right. Next up, you've been waiting for it. The fox, the hare, and the cock. Once upon a time, there lived a fox and a hare. The fox had a hut made of ice, and the hare a hut made of lime tree bark. The radiant spring came, and the fox's hut melted, while the hare's stood as before. The fox asked the hare to let her in to warm herself, and then drove him out. The hare walked along the road weeping and met some dogs. "Bow, wow, wow, why are you weeping, little hare?" The hare said, "Let me alone, dogs. How can I help weeping? I had a hut made of lime tree bark, and the fox had a hut made of ice. She begged me to let her into my hut, then drove me out." "Don't weep, hare," said the dogs. "We shall drive her out." "No, you won't." "Yes, we shall." They came to the hut and barked, "Bow, wow, wow, go away, fox." But the fox replied from the stove, "As I jump out, as I leap out, only tufts will fly around." The dogs took fright and ran away. Again the hare walked down the road weeping. He met a bear. "Why are you weeping, hare?" And the hare said, "Let me alone, bear. How can I help weeping? I had a hut made of lime tree bark, and the fox had a hut made of ice. She begged me to let her into my hut, then drove me out." "Don't weep, hare. I'll drive her out." "No, you won't. The dogs tried it and could not, and you will do no better." "I shall." So they both went to drive out the fox. "Go away, fox," growled the bear. The fox replied from the stove, "As I jump out, as I leap out, only tufts will fly around." The bear took fright and ran away. Again the hare walked down the road weeping and met a bull. "Why are you weeping, hare?" "Let me alone, bull. How can I help weeping? I had a hut made of lime tree bark, and the fox had a hut made of ice. She begged me to let her into my hut, then drove me out." "Let us go there, and I will drive her out." "No, bull, you won't. The dogs tried it and couldn't. The bear tried it and couldn't. You will do no better." "I shall." They went to the hut. "Go away, fox," roared the bull. But the fox replied from the stove, "As I jump out, as I leap out, only tufts will fly around." The bull took fright and ran away. Again the hare walked down the road weeping and met a cock carrying a sickle. "Cock-a-doodle-doo, why are you weeping, hare?" "Let me alone, cock. How can I help weeping? I had a hut made of lime tree bark, and the fox had a hut made of ice. She begged me to let her into my hut, then drove me out." "Let us go there. I will drive her out." "No, you won't. The dogs tried it and couldn't. The bear tried it and couldn't. The bull tried it and couldn't. And you will do no better." "Yes, I shall." They came to the hut. "Cock-a-doodle-doo!" crowed the cock. "I have a sickle on my shoulders. I am going to cut the fox to pieces. Get out, fox." The fox heard the cock, took fright, and said, "I'm getting dressed." The cock called again, "I have a sickle on my shoulders. I am going to cut the fox to pieces. Get out, fox." The fox said, "I'm putting on my fur." The cock shrilled for the third time, "I have a sickle on my shoulders. I am going to cut the fox to pieces. Get out, fox." The fox ran out. The cock cut her with his sickle and began to live with the hare and to prosper. There's a tale for you and a crock of butter for me. Apparently we're in the section of stories that all end with "there's a tale for you and a crock of butter for me." Well, there we go. We have a story that ends happily with a cock living with the hare after they've chased out the fox. Make of that what you will. So a couple of stories with animals and different kinds of excuse me. A couple of stories with animals and different kinds of homes, different kinds of houses, which is interesting, thinking of like the Three Little Pigs type of stories. I know the rule of three. Yeah, well, I mean, we had 4 attempts this time. Yeah, give me that butter. I told you a good story. Give me that butter. And I also love that the fox is not afraid of dogs, a pack of dogs, not afraid of a bear, not afraid of a bull, but yet there's a cock with a, for some reason, the cock has a sickle. So watch out, that cock is armed. And then, yeah, exactly, Rabid Wombat, bring a weapon, and then that'll scare the fox. Children. Aridin says it's the first time that animals have made specific animal sounds. I mean, they've referred to. Usually, the animals speak words, but it'll use descriptors to talk about the animal talking. So it'll say it'll have words and quotations, and then say like it growled or something like that. So it'll describe the words as animal sounds. But yeah, this time it actually had cock-a-doodle-doo written out for the cock. That's a good question, though, for sure. Yeah. Always bring a gun to a cockfight. I like that, Tiny Chris. That's good. That is good. Cool. Yeah, all right. Next, we have the return of Baba Yaga. So again, Baba Yaga shows up in a few different stories. We've had one story of Baba Yaga so far. It was okay. And this is the second one. Baba Yaga. A certain peasant and his wife had a daughter. The wife died. The husband married another woman and had a daughter with her also. His wife conceived a dislike for her stepdaughter, and the orphan had a hard time. Our peasant thought and thought, and finally took his daughter to the woods. As he drove in the woods, he beheld a little hut, standing on chicken legs. The peasant said, little hut, stand with your back to the woods and your front to me." The hut turned around. The peasant entered it and found Baba Yaga. Her head was in front, her right leg was in one corner, and her left leg in the other corner. "I smell a Russian smell," said Yaga. The peasant bowed to her and said, "Baba Yaga, the bony-legged one, I have brought you my daughter to be your servant." "Very well, serve me, said Yaga to the girl. I will reward you for it." The father said farewell and returned home. Baba Yaga gave the girl a basket full of yarn to spin, told her to make a fire on the stove, and to prepare everything for dinner. Then she went out. The girl busied herself at the stove and wept bitterly. The mice ran out and said to her, "Maiden, maiden, why are you weeping? Give us some gruel. We shall return your kindness." She gave them some gruel. "And now," they said, "stretch one thread on each spindle." Baba Yaga came back. "Well," she said, "have you prepared everything?" The girl had everything ready. "And now wash me in the bath," said her mistress. She praised the maiden and gave her several beautiful dresses. Okay, so she is working for something. Again Yaga went out, having set even more difficult tasks for her servant. Again the girl wept. The mice ran out. "Lovely maiden," they said, "why are you weeping? Give us some gruel. We shall return your kindness." She gave them gruel, and again they told her what to do and how. Baba Yaga, upon her return, again praised the maiden and gave her even more beautiful dresses. One day the stepmother sent her husband to see whether his daughter was still alive. The peasant drove into the woods. When he came to the house on chicken legs, he saw that his daughter had become very prosperous. Yaga was not at home, so he took the maiden with him. As they approached their village, the peasant's dog began to bark. "Bow, wow, wow! A young lady is coming! A young lady is coming!" The stepmother ran out and struck the dog with a rolling pin. "You're lying," she said. "You should bark. Bones are rattling in the basket." But the dog kept barking the same thing as before. The peasant and his daughter arrived. The stepmother began to press her husband to take her daughter to Baba Yaga. He took her. Baba Yaga set a task for her and went out. The girl was beside herself with spite and wept. The mice ran out. "Maiden, maiden," they said, "why are you weeping?" But she did not even let them speak. She struck them with a rolling pin and scolded them roundly and did not do her work. Yaga came back and became angry. Another time the same thing happened. Then Yaga broke her in pieces and put her bones in a basket. Now the stepmother sent her husband for his daughter. The father went and brought back only her bones. As he approached his village, his dog barked on the porch. "Bow, wow, wow! Bones are rattling in the basket." The stepmother came running out with a rolling pin. "You're lying," she said. "You should bark, 'A young lady is coming.'" The husband arrived, and then the wife moaned and groaned. "There's a tail for you, and a crock of butter for me." I don't know why I do that in like a pirate voice. And that's the end of that story. Yeah, exactly. It's, can't feed your kids, have them go and work for somebody else. At least they'll be fed and clothed. I love that the level of the daughter prospering is how many dresses Baba Yaga has given her. She's like, "Well, I have no money, but I've got this mountain of dresses here, so I'm doing all right." Yeah, I mean, children are definitely a source of labor. And if you can't feed them, you hand them off to somebody else, and boom, you got farm hands. I mean, I get that, Baba Yaga is mysterious and powerful, and her hut is cool, but she doesn't really play her part in the story is very minor. It could have just been another person or an imp or something. Like, it didn't. Baba Yaga in this story is fairly incidental. But we also get wicked stepmothers, which is definitely a theme that we see in a lot of tales. Stepmothers can be the worst. Yes, stick them in machines, right? You can always eat them. That is true. Extra kids, it's food. Like I said, there are more Baba Yaga stories, so we'll see. Hopefully, she'll have more cooler tales in the future. Yeah, there's a few more, at least with her name in the title. So I don't know exactly what she does. Let's see. Time for. Oh, okay. I think we can do two more. The ram, the cat, and the 12 wolves. Yeah, no, we're definitely yeah. Like I said, I hope more Baba Yaga stories are a little bit more interesting than that one. At least with her. Okay, the ram, the cat, and the 12 wolves. An old couple had a cat and a ram. The old woman prepared cream to make butter with, and the cat stole some of it. "Old man," said the old woman, "there's mischief in our cellar." "You must see," said the old man, "whether some stranger is not playing tricks on us." The old woman went to the cellar and saw the cat pushing the lid of the pot aside with his paw and lapping some cream. She drove him out of the cellar and went back into the house. But the cat had preceded her and hidden on the stove in the corner. "Husband," said the old woman, "we did not believe that our own cat was the offender, but it is he indeed. Let us kill him." Hearing these words, the cat jumped from the stove, rushed to the ram in the stall, and said, "Brother Ram, I am to be killed tomorrow, and you are to be slaughtered." Tricky animals. The two animals decided to run away from their owner that night. "But how shall I do it?" the ram asked. I should be glad to take flight with you, but my shed is locked." "Never mind," said the cat. He climbed up the door, removed the string from the nail with his paw, and set the ram free. And so they went wandering along the roads. They found a wolf's head, took it up, and continued walking. Then they saw a little fire in the woods at some distance and went straight to the fire. They came up and found 12 wolves warming themselves around the fire. "God be with you, wolves." "Welcome, cat and ram." "Brother," said the ram to the cat, "what do we have for supper?" "We have 12 wolves' heads. Go and choose the fattest." The ram went into the bushes, raised high the wolf's head they had found on the road, and asked, "This one, brother cat?" "No, choose a better one." The ram raised the head once more and asked, "How about this one?" The wolves took such fright that they would gladly have run away, but they did not dare do so without first asking permission. 4 wolves came to the cat and the ram, begging, "Please, let us go get some wood for you." And these 4 left. The remaining 8 wolves became even more fearful than before, thinking, "Since they could eat 12, they will be able to eat 8 even more easily." 4 more wolves asked permission to go for water. The cat let them go. "You may go, but come back soon," he said. The last 4 wolves went to the others, saying, "Why haven't they come back?" The cat let them go, ordering them even more sternly to come back soon. But he and the ram were really happy that the wolves had gone. The wolves gathered together and went further into the woods. They met the bear, Mikhailo Ivanovich. "Have you heard, Mikhailo Ivanovich, of a cat and a ram who ate 12 wolves?" "No, my boys, I haven't heard of them." "But we have seen this cat and ram ourselves." "I too should like to see how brave they are." Mikhailo Ivanovich, the cat is awfully quick-tempered. There is no way of winning his favor. At any moment he may jump on you and tear you to pieces. We are nimble with dogs and hares, but the cat is a different matter. It would be better to invite them for dinner." They sent for the fox and said to her, "Go and invite the cat and the ram." The fox began to excuse herself. "It's true I am nimble, but I am not good at dodging. They might eat me." "Go!" There was nothing to be done, so the fox ran to invite the cat and the ram. She came back and said, "They promised to come. Ah, Mikhailo Ivanovich, how fierce that cat is! I found him sitting on a tree stump and breaking it with his paws. He was sharpening his knives against us. And he rolled his eyes in the most terrifying manner." The bear was scared, put one wolf on a high tree stump to be the lookout, gave him a piece of a rag, and said, "When you see the cat and the ram, wave the rag, and we'll all go out to meet them." They began to cook dinner. 4 wolves dragged up 4 cows, and the bear appointed a marmot as cook. The cat and the ram were on the way to pay their visit when they saw the lookout and suspected foul play. The cat said, "I will crawl quietly in the grass and sit close by the tree stump facing the wolf. And you, brother ram, take a run and hit him with your head as you pass him at full speed." The ram began to run and hit the wolf with all his speed and strength and threw him down, while the cat jumped at his snout and clawed it and scratched it till it bled. When the bear and the wolves saw this, they began to talk among themselves. "Now you see what the cat and ram can do." They managed to throw Evstifeko was his name, the wolf, from a high tree stump and maul him. How can we hold our ground against them? Apparently they do not give a fig for our preparations. They have come here not to enjoy a treat, but to hurt us. Ah, brothers, wouldn't we do better to hide? All the wolves scattered in the woods. The bear climbed into a pine tree, the marmot crawled into a hole, and the fox hid under a log. The cat and the ram fell upon the prepared feast. As the cat ate, he kept mewing, "Not much, not much." Then he happened to look back, saw the marmot's tail sticking from the hole, took fright, and jumped into the pine tree. The bear was frightened by the cat, flung himself down from the pine tree, and rushed forward, almost crushing the fox under the log. The bear ran away, and so did the fox. So you hurt yourself? Said the fox to the bear. No, mate. If I had not jumped off the tree, the cat would have eaten me long ago. The end. Well, we had a lot of animals. Apparently, sometimes when you walk down the road, you just find the head of a wolf. So that's something. The cat is very, very smart, very wily. Yeah, cats are super shady. The ram is very agreeable. Will do whatever the cat tells him to do. And all the other animals will ally themselves against interlopers, which is kind of cool. And apparently a marmot can be a good cook. Who knew? Was this cat like the bunny from Monty Python? It sounds like. Mikhail Ivanovich is evidently the personified bear. Yeah. Yeah, here, I mean, they met the bear. Well, here it's Mikhailo, but yeah. Mikhailo Ivanovich. Have you heard? Have you heard? He is the bear. And then here, I'm just going to read this a little short one. The Fox and the Woodpecker. There was once a woodpecker who built her nest in an oak tree, laid 3 eggs, and hatched 3 young. A fox took to visiting their tree. She rapped the mossy oak with her long tail and said, "Woodpecker, climb down the oak. I need oak wood for my tools." Little fox," answered the woodpecker, "you wouldn't let me hatch even one little child." Woodpecker, throw him down. I will teach him the blacksmith's trade." The woodpecker threw down one young one, and the fox ran from bush to bush, from tree to tree, and ate up the young woodpecker. Again she went to the woodpecker and rapped the mossy oak with her long tail and said, "Woodpecker, climb down the oak. I need oak wood for my tools." Little fox," answered the woodpecker, "you wouldn't let me hatch even one little child." Woodpecker, throw him down. I will teach him the cobbler's trade." The woodpecker threw down another young one, and the fox ran from bush to bush, from tree to tree, and ate up the young woodpecker. Again she went to the woodpecker and rapped the mossy oak with her long tail, and said, "Woodpecker, climb down the oak. I need oak wood for my tools." Little fox," answered the woodpecker, "you wouldn't let me hatch even one little child." Woodpecker, throw him down. I will teach him the tailor's trade." The woodpecker threw down the last young one, and the fox ran from bush to bush, from tree to tree, and ate up the last young woodpecker. The end. So, what is it? Fool me once. Fool me twice. Fool me 3 times. Woodpecker, you're a dummy. That is an excellent point, Emily. Most people or animals know one trade, maybe 2, but 3, that is far too many trades. Yeah, here the woodpecker is none too smart herself, but yeah, wolves. Have we seen any really smart wolves so far? We've seen some industrious wolves, but I don't think any really smart wolves. Upcoming tales include... We'll end on that one today, but just to look at the names. The Snotty Goat. Right and Wrong. Interesting. Oh, that was a really long one. We'll see if... The Potter. Probably not Harry. The Self-Playing Guzla. Marco the Rich and Vasily the Luckless. Oh, that's another long one. Whoa. Ivanko the Bear's Son. The Secret Ball. The Indiscreet Wife. Ooh. Exciting. The cheater cheated. All right. More Ivans. Ooh, what is this one? Chudo Yudo? Chudo Yudo. Oh wow, that one's like a novella. More wolves and goats. All right. Oh wow, look at that. Look at that artwork. Kind of freaky. Yeah, I was just trying to remember the stories that we've read so far and try to remember if the wolves had done anything particularly interesting, but yeah, no. Yeah, and it's also interesting to think of how tales that we're more familiar with treat animals and sort of animal archetypes versus what we're seeing here. But yeah, I mean, foxes, it's pretty much no matter where you come from, foxes are wily and smart and cunning and devious and murderous. But I mean, again, that's what foxes do. They break into things, they sneak into places, they eat young, all sorts of stuff like that. So what's happening this week? This week is very busy. Busy week. Tomorrow we'll do toys. I already have some stuff pulled out to talk about for tomorrow. There will not be Dune tomorrow. Jessica is getting ready for Heartbeats starting up this week. I think it's this week. It's very, very soon. Is it this week? I think it's this week. Double check. I believe it's this week. So yes, so no Dunes Day tomorrow. Just toys tomorrow morning, and then Wednesday. Yeah, I think Heartbeats starts this Friday. Restarts this Friday, and then Wednesday, like I said, is so much going on. So much. You might even say too much. Wednesday is World Read Aloud Day. I'm doing stuff for that. We'll do Warhammer Wednesday. We're gonna read. We're gonna read some Warhammer fiction on Wednesday. I'll try to find I'll probably do like passages from a couple different places. So I'll try to find some good stuff. I don't know if Dark Angels will appear. We'll see. I will need to find. I gotta find some good passages. All right, more things to do. And then the big thing on Wednesday is Wednesday afternoon, my time at least, starting at 2:00 Pacific in the afternoon. Will be the return of Myths and Video Games on the Pete Wiz channel, and we've got a really cool event that we're doing on Wednesday. A really neat activity. We're gonna have a bunch of incentives. We're gonna be raising money for some new stuff, and it'll be really cool. It'll be really fun, and we have guests, and just it's gonna be a blast. So tune in for that. What Myths in Video Gaming this time around? We're gonna talk about a few different things on Wednesday. But what I know Pete made mention of part of what we're doing, but we have a very interesting, like I said, it's more of an activity that we have planned. I don't know how much he's said. I don't want to let the whole cat out of the bag, so to speak. Oh, my internet is so slow. Why is there a dog skateboarding in overalls? We don't need that. Come on. Slow. Yeah, cats in bags. That'll be next time. Come on. Okay. All right, so he did say so Pete and I and our guest and you all who are watching, we are going to design a mythological based video game. Now, whether said game actually probably will not be created, but you never know. But we are going to come up with the coolest, the perfect, most exciting, ideal video game with mythological characters and settings and stuff. There's gonna be I'm very much looking forward to this. I think it's gonna be really cool to talk about this stuff. And yeah, I mean, that cat tufts will be flying back and forth if the cat gets out of the bag. But yeah, it's fun. We've got some really fun stuff, some really silly incentives and things that we could do. So yeah, that'll be Wednesday, and then normal stuff the rest of the week. Oh yeah, no, we are definitely going to be talking about genres. I'm sure romance will play a part in the game that we discuss and create, because romance is a very important part of games these days and of all good mythologies, right? Let's see who is on now. Who's online right now? Anybody good? You know what? I don't even trust my Twitch to be able to do a raid right now because everything is so goofy. So I'm just not gonna do that. I'm just gonna close it down. Oh, I did want to show this won't. I'm gonna show this again, but so the other day was the 100th day of school this year. And so for events like that, they always do silly things, projects and stuff. So for this one, Benjamin got a sheet that said, "When I am 100 years old," and he had to fill it out. Benjamin did this completely on his own. And so I'm going to share with you what my son did for this assignment, because it is freaking adorable. So he said, "When I am 100 years old, I will paint models." And he drew a bookshelf, and he labeled it, where there are models on the shelf, just like I have all my toys on my shelves. And there he is painting his little, and apparently that is an orc that he's painting because it's green. And the orc he has some sort of weapon that he's holding. And then there's Benjamin's little self-portrait sitting in the chair painting models. Now, I don't know if this implies that he thinks that I'm 100 years old because because I paint models and I'm old, but I thought this was pretty rad. Yeah, the ears are intense. But yeah, it's so great. And the models on the shelves, just like I have. I mean, come on, I am old, so I'll take it.
In your bedroom, yes.
All right, and like I said, I'm sure I'll show that again to people, so everybody can enjoy that. Cool. Well, I always have fun reading the fairy tales. I hope you all enjoy listening to them. We'll do it probably for a couple more installments at least. I promise at some point I'll look ahead and I'll pick out like the Baba Yaga ones and if any story that sounds famous or particularly crazy. And then eventually we'll move on to other mythologies like we've done in the past. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got for today. I'll see you all tomorrow, hopefully, for Toy Tuesday. We're going to talk for part of it about Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds have really cool vehicles. I'm going to open one and look at some old Thunderbirds toys. So come back tomorrow for that. And otherwise, have a great rest of your Monday. and into Tuesday. Be good. Be safe.